All right, guys, and welcome to the Track and Field Agenda. Yeah, I'm joined by Fanfletics. What a night of athletics. We're going to cover the last 2 nights of the weekend. Thanks for joining us, guys. Make sure you get your comments in because it's been very, very special and very interesting as well. And we will go back and see who predicted this. Not many over the last couple of nights, but this is the Track and Field Agenda, joined by Fanfletics and hopefully my brother as well. That's why we're late. So thanks for tuning in. Get your comments ready, guys. Let's go. Yes, what a beat and what a night, what a final. Welcome, Kahinde. Zico, how you doing, bro? You just arrived?
Yeah, cool, bro. Just arrived, man. Yeah.
You're running a marathon, and we wanted you to get on in the sprint time. You know, you came in marathon time. Don't worry about being late. We're here now. Have you met Fanfletics?
I saw the show the other day. I saw his introduction, and I was listening to his story about how he started off in athletics and how he didn't think he was quite good enough, but he still got a passion for the sport.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks. I feel terrible now, but I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Doesn't matter. You know, Usain Bolt's coach, similar sort of story. He wasn't happy. He started off as a sprinter. What's his name? Glenn something?
Mills.
Yeah, started off as a sprinter. Wasn't happy with his times. Wasn't happy with his form. Decided to become a coach. One of the best coaches ever. So that's just how it goes.
Watch this space.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, I said this. Gave you this.
I'm hold you for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Before we get into it, let's little introductions, no doubt about it. First, I want to say hi to Munzi in the comments. Make sure you get the chats in. Munzi, how you doing, man? He's saying what a race that was. We're certainly talking about the 100-meter final. The winner was 8th at 30 meters and managed to win that race. What a final. I don't think I could run 100 meters in half an hour, let alone 10 seconds. Wow, amazing. All right, quick introduction. Fanfletics, give us what you got. How are you feeling? How's your Olympics going so far? Before we get into any specifics, just how are you? How was your weekend? You done anything nice?
I love it. I'm having a great time watching the athletics. I postponed my holiday this year for this reason. I do it every Olympics because, you know, this is the one. This is what I wait for. I spend 4 years watching people's progression just for this night. You know, I spend months following them, looking up online, trying to stay away from Wikipedia, doing everything I can to make sure I'm ready for this night to call my predictions. And we've had 2 finals to talk about today, and I'm going to go 1 for 2. So we're going to hold that for that and leave it right there.
Are you in competition with us now? Is that what it is?
I'm not saying nothing about no competition, but it's the Olympics.
All right, we want that competitive spirit about prediction and everything else. Yeah, you almost got one right. Kahinde, Zico, my brother. Talk to me. Just we give everyone an intro. Just tell us your love of track and field athletics, and overall, how was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good. Did a bit of football training today, trying to get back into fitness. Got a little friendly next week. I love the Olympics because it's, you know, it defines who's the best in the world at, you know, each event, and it's just like the World Cup. It's on that same level. You know, you have to wait every 4 years. It is the greatest show on earth, I actually think, and I've been enjoying it this year. I mean, obviously my favorite is the sprint events, and they're over quickly, but it's always been, when you're growing up and you're watching who's the fastest person in the world, like that's the most amazing thing to see. Yeah. And you know, I remember going back to like 1992 when Linford first won it. And I remember, like, the final today was that close. It reminded me of the Gail Davis man in Otti. That's how close it was. Like, it was that great of a race. You know what I mean? And it's funny that's American first and Jamaican second again. So it is,
JA actually won yesterday as well, so Jamaica's still in the house. It's the initials JA anyway. I'm trying to get Jamaica some spirit. Big up to Julian Alfred. Here we go. See her there winning yesterday in a time of 10.72. Is that right?
Yeah, it was
10.72.
Yeah, let's talk about this race before we get on to today's final. I mean, look, Sherika Richardson in second place. I didn't predict that happening. I thought she was a sure shot favourite based on her personal best, based on her this being her stage to actually produce the goods without any Jamaicans really in the final. But she came second and a good second as well. Alfred, I didn't see that coming. She ran a personal best. I suppose you have to do that. But over to you, Fanfletics, as you told me about Alfred a few years ago. And yes, take your glory now. Let's talk all things about Alfred right now. And
I'm gonna lay it out there in the most humble way possible. Fanfletics called Julian Alfred. Done. Simple. Mic drop. Finished. Julian Alfred from day one this year and from last year, she's been running with determination. And the main thing about her is her consistency. She runs the similar race every single race. She's in that amazing training group with Coach Flo. They are producing stars at the moment. They have a nailed down regime. They've been explicit about it, and they've been explicit about what they think they can get from their athletes. And when Julian Alfred stepped on the track this year, she had a determination. Sha'Carri Richardson, I love her. I really respect what she's doing for the sport, and I've got nothing against her. But she was shook on the line. She was shook when she came out. She was shook in the semi-final, and I wanted to remind myself to say this. She thought after the semi-final, right, I was next to her. She blasted out ahead of me. It's okay. Just get through it. I got through it as long as I'm not placed next to her in the final. And what happened? She was drawn next to her in the final. And when she knew that and she came out, for me, it was lost at that point.
All right. So Sha'Carri, remember when she did win gold, she was in lane 9. Is there issues? And remember prior to that, obviously, she didn't go to the previous Olympics because of, even though she was running fast, because of, I think it's a drug issue or cannabis or something like that. Is there issues with Sha'Carri Kehinde Zico about on big stage, bottling it, bottle jobs, a bit like Arsenal Football Club? She was favourite.
Sorry, how can you say that when she won the Worlds last year?
Well, talk us through it. Go ahead.
Well, this is the thing. Like, obviously, what happened years ago, you know, she was banned from that last Olympics, and then I think she came back like after 2-3 months out, not much training, and she came last to the race, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she gave that interview. It was just embarrassing. She's trying to front, yeah, I'm still this, and she was embarrassed, obviously, to finish last. And what she did from finishing last to winning the Worlds last year, that's amazing. So it's funny that, like, I would have thought she would have winning the Worlds last year would have given her that confidence to get over the line for the final. I would have thought she would have been the experienced one. And this St. Lucian Alfred, she's come out of nowhere and just won it. You know what I mean? Where we can make a contrast like with Lyles now. He didn't do that well in the heats in the semi-finals, but it didn't let him phase him in the final. He kept it together.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm just going to say this. I think Sha'Carri, this is an opportunity. Like you said, Olympics comes along once every 4 years, and you don't get many opportunities. Just before today, I was privileged enough to watch the Daley Thompson documentary, and he was there in '76 as a little teenager, just coming out of doing his A-levels. And Bruce Jenner won the decathlon in '76. He came 18th, and he said I'm proud I'd come 18th because I was 18 years old. He worked his ass off. 4 years later, he won in Moscow and got an Olympic gold by hard work. We all love Daley, his dedication. And then 4 years later in LA, he became champion again. Now, he was on course to do it again, 3-time champion in Seoul in '88, but it just couldn't do it. But injuries and age got to him. But just shows you don't get many opportunities. And I think Sha'Carri Richardson will be devastated with the field that she would have been favourite, that she didn't deliver. That's why I'm questioning her mentality. And I'm coming back to you, Fanfletics, because you suggested she was shook on the line. I mean, is this a big issue? And let's talk about Alfred as well. It's not just all about Sha'Carri. Let's talk about Alfred and the other competitors, because Daryl Nita, you're another one of your favourites, also got was in the final. So yeah.
I'm gonna talk about Alfred. Don't worry, because Julian Alfred, you know, Kehinde, you said that she came out of nowhere, and I think that's denigrating her character right there, because she came and won the NCAA's in 2022. She won the NCAA's indoor in 2023. She won the world indoor title this year. Every single year over the last 3 years, she's been progressing. And the reason that people don't talk about her is because she doesn't have the mouth to, like, after the races. She doesn't come up, go crazy, but she's been there. And when you see Dina Asher-Smith picking up her times again over the last few months, really, and over this last year, Dina Asher-Smith is training with Julian Alfred. So those people are training together. They're pushing each other. Sha'Carri Richardson, we know that there's a bit of a mental issue there. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because we know people with mental issues have taken themselves right to the title at times when people didn't think they could. You know, and when we say that, we're just talking about the fact that sometimes there's a bit of pressure. And pressure is a big thing in this sport. You know, it's a one-time performance at times. But I think that Julian Alfred acquitted herself excellently. You know, she ran that race as she ran the semi-final. She ran it. She was out there to win. She didn't do any tactics. She was just there to win. And I think Sha'Carri did what she normally does, which is come powering through the field. And I think she did it well. But Julian Alfred was an undeniable winner yesterday. And I was so proud. I was so happy to see it. Daryl Nita getting fourth place. She was so upset in that interview. She was so upset. And I love Daryl Nita because her emotion is fully on that camera. When you see her talking, when you see her having her interviews, Daryl Nita is one of the most emotive, one of the most honest and direct interviewees when you see her after races. And she gets it wrong sometimes. And yesterday she got it wrong, because that was an amazing performance from her. She finished last in the final in 2021. She finished fourth yesterday. She's the first British woman since Jeanette Kwachi 2008 to be in an Olympic final. She's done it twice. So she should feel very, very proud of herself and let that take her forward in the two, which I know she has a great future in as well. But Sha'Carri, great. 10.65 last year from the outside, bound in style, amazing, no pressure. This year, getting blasted by the world indoor champion over the first 50 meters, both in the semi and in the final, shook her, and that was it. And that's why the race happened how it happened.
We're going to go to the comments. The last comment just came in is Ravi. Do you know Ravi?
That's my boy. What's up, man?
He's saying Fanfletics knows his stuff. He certainly does. Big up to Fanfletics. And big up to you, Ravi. Keep the comments coming in. Going back to Moz World Sport, how you doing? Looks like wasn't right about 100% in St. Lucian. Julian Alfred won. Got the money signs there as well. What a past 2 days. We do the damn thing. How you doing? How you doing? I know who you are now. I know who you are. Enough respect due to you, my brother. I had no idea that you were athletics fan. Big up to you. Moss World Sport saying, told you guys, GB weren't sweeping the 800 meters women. We'll come on to that very soon. Kylie looking solid. Keely, I think you mean there. Ethan, great golds. Who's Ethan Casberg? I haven't seen that, but we'll get on to that. Don't listen to Saki Moss on Monday. Obviously, people made predictions in the previous show. Alfred Gold, I won sweet. Oh, so someone's a betting man there. Big up Moz. Talking about the sprints, obviously that's to come. Noah Lyles, 100% right on both goals. Check your last stream as mentioned. So you got 1 out of 2 Fanfletics, but Moz Sports got 2 out of 2. Alfred Race execution has been sublime. Says we do damn thing. How she approached the semi and the finals top notch, as Fanfletics was just saying earlier on. More comments coming in, guys. Keep them coming. But what was going on in England is a sad disgrace. Wow, I hope things settle down. Weymouth, Middlesbrough, safe amigos. Obviously, we're not here to talk these things, but everyone just keep safe out there. I've not keep up to date today with the news. I've been watching athletics, but yeah, it's a crazy world out there. Carl he's a fraud. We can talk about. I know Kehinde likes to talk about that. Alfred, amazing, says Moz Sport. With Richardson, we have seen on the documentary she does not do pressure. Yeah, that was on that Netflix series. When she failed to win the semi and saw Alfred was not there to play, she bottled it clear. And obviously, Chris Morales, I called a medal 2, looking good. Check your tape as a Sasuke Guna on the last show. We know that Moss World Sport. Keep your predictions coming in. And one prediction you did say was about the Canadian, not this Canadian gold hammer winner. We're talking about the other Canadian who didn't get to the final, as I predicted, and you said would win. You were wrong on that one. And we do damn thing says, I also think Richardson felt further pressure with all 3 Jamaicans' absence. It's now over to her being overwhelmed. Odds on favourite. It's just, yeah, the stage is set. and you have to have a mental fortitude, don't you, to really deliver in the final. So Alfred showed that. She stepped up, she delivered, and she ran a PB as well, which is fantastic.
Sorry, I think you're being a bit harsh on Richardson. I just think maybe just praise Alfred the way that she ran. I don't think Richardson ran a terrible race.
Yeah.
She
did
didn't.
she get a good start? Did she get a good start? So she didn't get a good start. So if you break down a race, it's the start, it's the drive phase, it's picking up, you get to your top speed as soon as possible, and it's your finish as well. So I think.
Right.
Like,
so what time did she get?
I think what did Richardson run?
10.87.
No,
hold on. She ran a 10.87. Yep, 10.87.
10.87. Now her fastest time is 10.6,
6.5.
and when she's on form, she can run 10.7s consistently. So I think she would be disappointed with her race. I think the majority of people put her as favourite based on her performances and her times. So when Alfred's run a PB in the final and showed that fortitude, I think she got a poor start. Obviously, you're a bit anxious, but you need to get out well and take that risk and go. Yeah. And she couldn't pick it up, and Alfred had gone, and she didn't have the finishing speed. But yeah, I think she would be disappointed. But I'm ready to hear your argument, Kehinde. Do you want to add to that? So you think you're backing Shaqiri? You think she ran a great race?
I just think
running 10.87.
Really, listen, like I said, from what I saw that 4 years ago, her finishing last to winning the Worlds last year, and then coming second this year at the Olympics, and she's still young enough to have another Olympics. And I think, I'm not going to criticize her. I think she's done really well.
Okay.
I think when we talk about these battles, we're talking about them in the sense of how they are right now. Now, I might seem like I'm down on Sha'Carri, but she's one of the greatest racers for me of all time. I'm still waiting for her to blow up in the 2 because I think she's a 2 runner as well. And I think we see that from the fact that she picks up towards the 60, 70 meter line and has a top speed, which right now, apart from Sherika, is unmatched as a top speed. Maybe Gabby as well. So I respect her greatly, but in the here and now, she buckled. And I feel like she didn't do too badly compared to her other races of the season. But when we're looking at 10.65 from last year, I think she could have done better. And I think Alfred ran away with it, but I think it could have been closer. And I think it should have been closer.
Okay, she didn't run her best race, but I think there's still time for her. There's still time.
Yeah, my point is, I think what you need to do in big championships is run close to your PB or break your PB. You get people like British runners over the years who might not make the final, but if they've made a PB, they'd be quite happy with that, So people have different expectations, going into the big Olympics and finals. And you have to be realistic. Realistic expectations is important. I think a realistic expectation for Sha'Carri going into the final, despite what happened in the semi, was to say, if I could run a 10.7 close to my PB or in around that time, I've got a chance of winning. And she ran 10.87, which is a lot slower than what she should have. So I think I haven't broken down the race in detail, see why, but Alfred actually dominated the race and delivered when it really mattered and ran a PB. So yeah, you have to give props where it's due. Did the Swiss girl come fourth? I was really surprised by that. Kambunji, yeah. That was well done to her. She's a bit inconsistent. I think she could run fourth. She was close.
No, she was sixth. But the thing about Kambunji is that she's a good championship performer. She's won the Europeans. She's won the World Indoors, I think it was. So she's a good championship performer. But she's, one of those 10.9, 10.8 runners that we know they're going to do that. But we also know that they're not necessarily at the moment where they're going to get to 10.7, low 10.7, mid 10.6s. So greatest of respect to her. She definitely gives Dina a run for her money and Daryl and the rest of ours. But but sixth was good for her. She ran sub 11, so that's good.
Just going here to We Do the Damn Thing says, talk about Sha'Carri. She didn't run the perfect race. Her race into the drive was not fluid and was kind of quite forced as well. She did great, but the execution wasn't there. So that's enough. So well done. Once again, I put this image up. Look at the joy, look at the jubilation, and then look at the misery in Richardson. She knows she's disappointed. And then you look at Daryl Nita in the background there. How's she feeling? She's probably thinking, made the final, I'm in the mix, but she should be proud of herself about running the time that she did and getting close to her PB, or did she break her PB? So there's 3 different emotions there, isn't it, from 3 different competitors. Great image, and well done to Alfred for delivering. She looks in great shape, no doubt about it. All right. guys, what we wait for, 20 minutes into the show. I know we had to start with the last night's race, the 100 meters, and we're going to go into what happened today. Outstanding. Here's the result. Have you seen a better race in your lifetime, Kahinde, than that? Look at that. 8th place was a world record for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I mean, is this the greatest race of all time?
I wouldn't say it's the greatest race of all time. It's up there. If I'm thinking about the top 5 that I've seen over the last 30 odd years, it's definitely up there. But it was just great because, you know, Lyles, they showed it. I think they broke it down at the end about what you were saying about the dry phase, and it showed that Thompson was in front the majority of the race until the last bit. So Lyles, he's got a habit of doing this thing where he pits people at the line. I saw him do it against Coleman a few years ago. He shocked him. Reminded me of a little bit of 91 with Carl Lewis in the world.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Where he was just behind, but he just right at the end just pipped everyone, you know. So yeah, it was really good. And I was looking at it when I just want to know about you guys, when the race was first over, who did you think won? Because I saw Lyles there and I saw Thompson. I was like, nah, Thompson's pipped it. What did you two think when it was instantly when it?
Oh, she found Athletics.
Who do you think pipped it?
Well, I called Lyles as soon as he crossed the line, and I was watching with 2 of my mates, and they both shouted Thompson. And Thompson was my pick outside of my guy Jacobs, and I'm not going to hear nothing about it. But Thompson was my guy for that. But I called Lyles. You could see him, and if you watch Lyles' races, you know to watch for him on the line. You know to watch for him coming through. He'll come through, speeding through, and he'll start to run the bend slightly just before he hits the 100-meter line. And as he brings in that tiny bit of momentum going toward the left, that's the part where he sneaks in. So I called it, I saw it, and I think when you see it 5/1000th of a second, you can see that on the slow-mo. You can see that he just runs in, he dips into the left, to the left of his lane, and he takes it on the line. I have to express a tiny bit of disappointment because I did think that Thompson was going to, keep it in JA. No partisanship myself, but just, it's a nice little flow. But I think Lyles deserved it. He did what he does best. He came through right and pipped them on the line, and he got it. And you know what? He talked about it, and he did it. And as all the Man United fans have said to me over the years, as a true Arsenal fan myself, it doesn't matter how it will happen. It matters if you won. So fair enough. That's what Lyles is representing right there, which is it doesn't matter how he did it, but he did it. And so, respect to him for that.
What a fantastic race, as you can see by the finish here. I'm going to go back to the times. This is what you need to do in the Olympic final, is get a personal best, season's best, national record. You can see it's all over this page here. So let's start from 8th place. Let's talk about Oblique Seville. This is the guy who cruised in the semi-final, running 9.8 something, slowed it down, took his foot off the gas and said, yeah, I'm the main man. He was right in the mix, right in the middle with his place in there. What went wrong with Oblique Seville? Anyone want to take this on?
I can't say. I mean, I thought he'll get in the top 4. He was looking good. But I think maybe just the pressure got to him because he must have just gave up because I'm sure he's faster than some of these other guys.
Well, if he runs
that guy for Botswana, he did pretty good, but yeah. I just would have thought, I just would have thought personally we'll get in the top 4, but I think maybe he just kind of gave up the last 30 meters because he knew he wasn't going to win or medal. Maybe, I don't know.
You see, Oblique Seville. You see, Oblique Seville runs like a winner, and when he's winning, he likes to hold that front place and keep just ahead of the person next to him. But he was running next to Simbini and Lyles. So he's running next to Lyles, the favourite, and he's running next to Simbini, a mad starter. And that could have broken him, But I did see at the end, he seemed a bit injured. So there might be a couple of things at play there.
Okay, coming to Kenny Ben Eric, 200-meter runner, but this year he's really Kung Fu Kenny has really come through as a genuine 100-meter runner. I mean, his time there is not a personal best, 9.88, but he was representing. Really, I'm impressed by him. Hard work, dedication, and I think he could medal on the 200. But just break down his race. Did you recall much from his race today on the outside lane?
Not really.
I mean, I wasn't really watching Kenny. I like him, but I'm more of a like him in terms of the two. I was really watching, lanes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really trying to see where things were coming from that side. Kenny Bednarek, he's a solid runner, and he stepped down to the one on purpose, and I think he's shown some prowess there. But I wasn't really paying much attention to him in the final.
Okay, just going to the young boy, the 300-meter world record holder, 400 meters. He's run 44 seconds this year, and we've got 100-meter PB in the final today. 200-meter 19.50. What a talent he is, Tobogo. You'd be disappointed with 6, but this is a top quality field. Talk to us about Leslie's race. Has he just need to get that man strength now to sort of if he wants to compete and win gold?
I think with Tobogo, that's my guy. He was my call for this race to medal, and he's my call for the 2, maybe to be a champion, if not this time in the future. But I will say about him, he ran a PB by 2/100ths of a second, so he was running out of his skin. I think that he is there or thereabouts, but he's not fully there yet. I think we'll see him bulk up a little bit. I think we'll see him run through the line a bit more. I think we'll see him run more races and run through the line rather than easing up. I think his coach will probably say, right, now it's time to get those shoulders and that chest, because he's running a PB and he's already one of the top 20 runners in the world in this event and one of the top 10 too. So for me, it's not a bad race. I would have liked him to do more, but these youngsters, like he's 21, we got time. We'll see him in LA.
Yeah, one big thing I just want to say here, the guy in 5th place, the former Olympic champion, I'm really surprised that he delivered 9.92 in the semis, season's best, and he's run a season's best in the final. For a guy who's had a really rocky road since he last won the title 3 years ago, it's Lamont Marcel Jacobs. 9.85. I think he's a winner coming out of this, a winner running that sort of time. I did not expect that. Let's talk about Kahinde. Let's talk about Marcel Jacobs, the former 100 meters Olympic champion.
Sorry, you broke up there. You talk about Marcel Jacobs.
Well, you are now.
Well, okay. Yeah, I didn't have any expectations for him this year. He was a guy that did come out of nowhere 3 years ago. And what did he get? 9.80.
Yeah.
If he was running anywhere near that time today, he would have got a medal. So, yeah, I had no real expectations. I don't rate him. I can't say I can't not rate him because he's the Olympic champion, former Olympic champion. But I just had this season he hasn't been great, has he? So.
Well, he's run a 9.85 when it mattered, so I think he would be proud of that. Your thoughts on this Fanfletics? Because obviously you're a big fan. We know what you said on the show the other day, but to deliver like this in the final, he's a winner, isn't he?
Listen, I don't want to throw the word winner around too loosely because we have winners, and Noah Lyles is that guy. And Marcel Jacobs has not taken home a medal, and I'm really disappointed about it. But I'll say about progression, the year that he won, he progressed through and he ran his fastest every single round of the games. He's done the same thing this time. He's heavily injured. His left quad is heavily strapped. He's heavily injured, and he's still come out to defend his title. And he's come 5th in 9.85. His PB is 9.80. And for me, I mean, we're saying that he came out of nowhere, world indoor, European, and then Olympic gold. This year, European, and now Olympic 5th place. So he's showing that I'm here, and I think he was an Olympian or a European finalist in the long jump prior to that. So, he's definitely shown that he's a competitor and that he is an athlete that can stay the rounds and stay the distance. So I think if he can come back a bit stronger, he's still young enough to come back, and he's an Olympic champion. That's his. So I'm disappointed, but I'm happy that he managed to acquit himself and kind of put the haters to sleep a little bit and just be like, well, listen, I made it to the final. I came 5th. I won 9.85. You can't say much after that.
Sorry, when I say the term came out of nowhere, it means that he's not talked about as he or she is not talked about as one of the favorites before the competition. That's
yeah.
I'm not saying
there was a lot of that. You're right.
Yeah, it's coming. This is the nearly man. I really feel for Simbini, the South African. He's run a personal best, a national record, and he's once again just outside the medals. I mean, come on, this is really, really something. I really do feel for him. He performs. He's a championship runner. Always performs to his best, but he's just once again just picked out of it. What, by hundreds of a second to Fred Curley? He was in the race. Got a great start. You can see his reaction time there. It's only Marcel Jacobs got a better time reaction time than him, and just missed out. He must be absolutely gutted. What a great career he's had. I think he's a legend. That's Sabine. New record and 9.82, but fourth place. Fanfletics.
I like Akane Zimbini. You know, as an athletics fan, you know, I love watching him. He shows up, he races, he competes, he posts brilliant times, and he puts himself in the mix. You know, he's going to be in the final, or he's going to be pushing somebody close in the semi. And I just have a great respect for him. You know, he's the Talu of men's 100 sprinting, and you know, everyone loves Mary Jose Talu. I'm sad that she gets fourths and fifths, but you know, if those people weren't running, some of the record holders and you know, finalists and medalists might not be doing what they're doing. So for Simbini to run and to take the 60 as well as he did just now, and to still hold on, I'm really happy for him. I'm sure he won't be, but when he looks back on his career, this is definitely not a massive loss. You know, it's another 4.
Before we go to the gold, silver, and bronze, let's go to the comments. Moss Sport World, thanks, Moss. Thanks for all the contribution you're doing with the comments here, and thanks. This is really knowledgeable stuff. South African was impressive. He said, "Big up to the Gooners as well." That's to you, Fanfletics. Simbine is talking about. Obviously, we just touched on him coming forth. We feel like he's always been nearly man. We do the damn thing. Says, I called Lyles. This is someone who executed his race. Thompson got into a battle with Curley, which showed his championship inexperience. Wow. We're going to come to that very soon, so hold tight, guys. Again, we did the damn thing saying here, Seville threw his game plan out the window when he felt Lyles and Simbine started to cruise past him. Wow, it's a good point again. 200 is going to be cooking, says Moss Sports as well. I knew Jacobs was dusty, says Moss Sports. You cannot be surprised about Jacobs. There's still an asterisk. That's when we do damn thing. He's also saying here, we cannot be surprised by Jacobs. There's still an asterisk over the COVID gold medal. He'd done really well, but injuries hampered his development. This may be his last final. I want to say big up to the man who created all this and helped me set up this superb track and field agenda. It's Mr. Colin. How you doing, Colin? Thanks again for all the help, and thanks for tuning in. Big up to you. All right, let's go to the top 3. This was a fantastic race. In third place and bronze medalist, Fred Curley, the ex-400 meter runner. Is he the greatest sprinter of all time? When you talk about times, he's got a 43.7 in the 400. He's run under 20 seconds, 19 something in the 200, and he's got a 9.77 in the 100.
976.
Sorry, 976. You're right.
Yeah.
Fred Curley, what an athlete! And he once again he's delivered. 981, just pipped to gold and from gold and silver. Talk about his race and his execution. What did you see through the rounds? He's such a confident character, isn't he, Fred Curley? He's done it again. Gold, well, missed out on gold, but he's an ex-world champion and silver medalist in the last Olympics. This time he's got bronze. Fanfletics.
Fred Curley is a good runner. I preferred him as a forerunner. I think that as a forerunner, I think he had the chance to maybe push for that record, and I was a bit sad when he got down. But then after his performance, a silver medal and now a bronze medal, enough respect to him. I love the 4. It's my favorite event, and the fact that he stepped down just like Sherika and manages to medal and show his strength at this distance as well. I like it, and I respect his medal. He's another one who doesn't talk much but talks a lot when he talks.
Yeah.
As he makes a big statement, and I think that he's backed it. And him and Lyles, they're not in Fanfletics Trap Club, but they're still, our respected rivals. And I respect him. I respect his position.
Kinde, what do you think about Fred Curley? I mean, look, great times at 400, 200, and now 100. Medalist as well. What an athlete. What should he do going forward?
I knew that he would medal today because he's always been up on, always up there, and he got a silver last time. But a PB of 976, that's better than both of the guys that finished first and second, isn't it? So yeah, he did well. I'm not sure if 100 is his best event, but he's a really good all rounder. So yeah.
Well, if we do, they do on IAAF, they do a scoring system, don't they? To say, say you've got a time of say 958, you get like 1,000 points or something based on that. So I would like to see his scoring for the 9.76 and the 43.7 something he's got. What's got the highest score to see what his best at? Is he the best 100 meters, or is he the best performer at 400 meters? Because they give you it's like decathlon, isn't it? You get a score for what you do. If you got time, Fanfletics, maybe you could look that up for me while I'm talking about that. But just it's something nonsense now. Just got to touch on this because this was brought up by one of the guys on my.
Well, if you want to hold tight a second, I didn't want to say it at the time, but he's a sub 44 runner in the 400. His 9.76 is nothing to his 43.64, and he ran that
43.64.
It's 43.64.
Okay, so that's even better. So, what's the score on the IAAF rankings? What would his score be? Because they tend to rank it. I don't. Maybe you can, if you got time. Maybe while we're just going through this. Also, I just want to touch on this because look at this photograph at the finish. Fred Curley gets a bronze medal, and obviously it's about your chest getting over the line first, but his foot, as you can see there, is ahead of everyone. But is it how you finish the race? As you can see here, his big size 13s are coming through. You see Lyles' face there. Look at the aggression. But his foot is well clear. But it's not done by feet, is it? It's done by your chest getting over the line. And as you can see here, it's so close and definitely beaten by Thompson. Thompson had him, but he ran with him all the way. But it's Lyles, even though Lyles' foot is further back than Thompson and our man there, Curley, he dipped at the right time to perform and get the thing. And it's been running relaxed as well, isn't it? So what a fantastic finish. It's just immense to see something like this. And we kind of predicted this would happen with the guys. There was no clear favourite. Just going back to this image, funny, isn't it? I mean, it's all about the chest, isn't it? What about the finish? Is it an art to sort of learn how to dip at the line? I remember Colin Jackson. He was fantastic at that, dipping at the line. But as you can see here, talk to us about the art of a finish and how you come over the line and what to do. Because I think Thompson didn't relax. He seemed like he tensed up when he knew Curley was there with him to push again. And as you mentioned the other day about having all this muscle like Harry A. and the Kenyan who didn't even make the final, I saw him tense up and I thought, oh no, you're going to blow it. Relax. And the only one who relaxed really was the guy who won the gold. Talk to us about the finish and what makes a good finisher. What do you have to really do in situations like this? So I can start with you, Kinde.
Yeah, obviously it's really important, but it's like I've always wondered about this because obviously you've got to get your heads there first, but it's like you've got to keep your balance, haven't you? Really, yeah. I think that's the most important thing because you don't want to be stumbling like across the line. You've got to maintain that speed and balance, like when you're going dipping. So it is an art, and maybe like some people like don't have the right body type for it. Thompson's a big, huge guy, isn't he? And yeah, it just seemed like Lyles he's got a knack of that, just pipping people at the line and timing it well, the dip as well.
So when do you do it? When would you dip? I mean, when do you start getting to that dip stage? Because you don't want to lose your form, do you?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You don't want to lose your form, but maybe my friend here could share a bit more because he's got a bit more experience about that, you know.
Over to you, Fanfletics. Talk to us about the finish of the race and what it takes and when do you start to dip, and there's so many crucial things here in this 10 seconds.
Well, one of the first things I want to say is I like the highlight of the shoe. I think there's another issue to go there with Fred Curley, but we won't talk about that now maybe. But yeah, no, I think with the dip, one day I'll release the track, the Colin Jackson dip. Not now, but you heard it here first. Patent, copyright, whatever I need to say. But there is a massive art to it. Toby Amasan, she's a great dipper as well. Even what's his name, the Olympic 100-meter champion from Tokyo, Hansel Parchment, they've got some great dips. And one of the things you have to do is you've got to time it perfectly. There's no point in dipping halfway out and then stumbling. I'm not going to hate on Femke Bol because she's my shout for the 4 hurdles, but you've got to really, really, really time it well. And it's about the chest. And they say the thickness of a vest, it is that sometimes. And you see some of the distance runners throwing their arm out. In the 100, it's different. Noah Lyles does a thing where he comes and he curves round. So he seems to curve round. He kind of puts some extra momentum into the left turn. And so he often finishes running left. Whereas a lot of the runners, they kind of depend on who the person next to them is. I think what happened in the race with Thompson is that he was racing Fred Curley. And in racing Fred Curley, he was stride for stride with him. They were locked in that little battle. And as he leant forward, he outdipped Fred Curley. And you see his hips are far behind, but his chest is there, which means he's dipping hard for someone of his height, of his style, and how tense he is and how tight he is. He's dipping hard. Whereas Fred Curley does that Superman, you know, where he throws his arms back and thrusts his chin and his chest forward. Now, they're racing each other. Either of them in this race could have beat Lyles if they were next to him with the times that came up. Because they were racing each other, they were dipping against each other. I think if they'd seen him coming, or if they felt him coming, or if they knew what a runner he was, and they're both familiar with him, especially Curly, I think they might have kept their form a little bit better, maybe tried to hold on a little bit longer before dipping, because there's something to be said about running through the line as well, rather than trying to dip for the line. So I think Noah Lyles won that by maintaining his form better, by holding on and doing what he normally does, whereas the other guys are racing each other to outdip each other. And the same thing with Tebogo and Jacobs. They're trying to race each other to outdip each other because they're next to each other. And, you know, great, I won the race against you, but, the medal's over there.
So just going, there's fantastic assessment there, bro. Just to go back to this, and we're looking at this image here. So what you're saying here is that the hips of Noah Lyles are they further ahead than the other two, Fred Curley and Thompson?
Yeah, because Noah Lyles is still in his full flow, whereas Thompson and Curley, well, Thompson especially, he's already slowing down to try and time his dip. So his hips are further behind. So therefore, if the dip comes up too quickly and Noah Lyles is running too fast, I'll take you guys back to one of the greatest 400-meter races of all time. For me, it wasn't, but for me, as a viewer, Amantha Moncho versus Christina Horogu.
Yes.
Moncho led.
Great shout.
Yeah, Moncho led the entire race. She led the entire. There was not one point in that entire race that Christina Horogu was ahead. But on the last millisecond, the last millimeter, Moncho dipped early. Christine kept running, and so when she dipped on the left leg, going over the line, and therefore her hips, chest, everything were ahead of Moncho. Moncho didn't even see her because she dipped perfectly. She ran through the line, whereas Moncho dipped for the line and leaned up. And I think that's what's kind of happened here a little bit. Kashana's dipping for the line rather than Noah Lyles is dipping over the line and through the line. And I think that's what got it for him. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Fanfletics, fantastic. All right. So, yeah, great times here. 9.79, 9.79. I'm just going to go to the comments, guys. The comments are coming up. I do appreciate you guys. All these comments are great. I called Lyles. This is someone who executed his race. We've read this, but Thompson got into the battle with Curley, which showed his championship inexperience. I wanted to read that again because it's just full of quality. We do the damn thing. When are you coming on the show? Let me know. I'm going to send a message through Fanfletics to let me know when you want to come on the show, because we're going to go almost every night of the week and touch on this. And I want your input. I want to see you on here and talking, because you talk a good game in the comments, but let's see if you can do it on video as well. We did that thing. Ken's saying Seville threw his game plan out the window. We touched on that before. We cannot be surprised about Jacobs. We touched. Sorry, I'm just going back to other comments. Mars is saying here we did that damn thing. He agrees with him. What he's saying there. Curley and Benerick are both in the 200 as well. So that'd be a great race. Curley done really well. He was overwhelmingly overlooked, and he has just shown his consistency in being able to deliver. That's the most important thing, no doubt about it. Donovan Bailey never needed to dip. He just dominated. For what 2 years? World champion 95, Olympic champion 96, and then came along Maurice Green. But you talk about running.
Don't forget Michael Johnson flopped against Bailey. Like,
hey, no.
And Bailey had the world record for a while as well. So don't,
What do you think that was about? That was what Michael Johnson clearly faked an injury there. Is it because he was under pressure?
I think, like, when you watch it back, when they go around the bend, he realized he's not going to win. And then that's where he pulled up the hamstring thing. He realized then. But I think Johnson thought that he would have him at the bend, because that was his thing, That's what. But yeah, it was so fake, man.
All right, just quickly, a couple more, because we've going on like some years ago. But Donovan Bailey is just stirring up a lot of us in here. His running form, was raggedy. He was, I mean, top end speed was very good. But wow, when I watch him now, I think, wow, he needs some proper coaching. Good analysis on the dip. That's to you, Fanfletics, from We Do Damn Ting. Very good, actually. I really enjoyed that. Moss Sports are saying, agree, Fanfletics. Still never find your channel ever. Moss Sports, what we need to do with Column, I was thinking about Fanfletics because we need some help. What we're going to do, Moss Sports and Column, let's arrange a meeting in the studio and let's help Fanfletics out. Let's get his page up and running and properly. And maybe he can join Sports Network like us and deliver. Because you can see he's talented, he knows his stuff, and he can bring in the views and everything else. So let's have a conversation about that, Moss Sports. Let's get together and with Fanfletics and help, as we are like one fantastic community here. Let's help a brother out, as we say. As you know, because athletics can blow up on full-time sports network, but that's what we're here for. Okay, Michael Johnson felt shame, says We Do Damn Ting. Yes, indeed, that was a long time ago. All right, let's just wrap this up now. 100-meter champion Noah Lyles. He's slowly becoming one of the all-time greats. You know, you have to give it to him. If he wins the 200 as well, let me just say this. Just going back to this, he's run a personal best in the 100 meters. Okay, going into 200 with that sort of 100-meter speed, is there an opportunity now that the 19.19 is under threat from Noah Lyles? Because when you break down the race, the second 100 is always faster. If he can get off, I think when when Usain Bolt run the 19.19, he started off with a 9.93 first 100, and then something like an 8.9 something, you know, second 100 or something like that. Noah Lyles, when they broke down Noah Lyles' 1932, they said if he could run faster than the first 100, he'd be in a shout with a shout because he ran a faster second 100, I believe, than the 1919 in 2009 in Berlin. So now that we're seeing Noah Lyles step it up and run even faster, is these the conditions that he needs? Is this the ingredients he needs to actually break Usain Bolt's world record and become one of the all-time greats? Over to you guys. What do you think?
No, look, bro, like he only just beat Michael Johnson's record, didn't he? Did he get 1931 or something?
Yeah,
so he only just beat it. So I don't even think he's going to get near Johan Blake's 200. What's Blake's got 1926 or something like that? Yeah. So for him to get, and when I watched Johan Blake run that 1926, it's like he didn't slow down. It looked like he ran faster than Bolt's 1919. Yeah, it was rapid. So I think like he could probably get like a 19.2 something, like not below 19.26, like maybe between 19.27 and 19.29. But that's what I would expect. I think he'll do very well to do that. But I don't think he'll get anywhere near Blake's or Bolt's, obviously.
Wow. What's your thoughts on that, Fanfletics?
I think Noah Lyles sacrificed the 2 record for the 1 Olympic final and championship. I think he sacrificed it. I think if he had won a silver, I would have still said the same thing. I think that Noah Lyles said, I almost broke the 2 when I was at my peak form. Now I want to go for the money. I want to go where the plaudits are. I want to follow my mouth into the 1. And I want him to prove me wrong because I would love to see Bolt's 2 record go. I don't see the 1 going anytime soon. That's it. But the 2 record, I think, is more within reach. I think you've got Tobago. I think you've got Lyles. I think you've got some other runners that are coming up. And I think that they potentially see that 2 as more breakable than the 1. And so I think that potentially it's there. I don't think Lyles is doing it right now. I think that his 19 2 days, I think they're passing for now. And I would love to see him maybe come back down to a 19.31, 19.32, 33. But yeah, and I'm still calling Tobago for the 2.
Okay. Quickly, there's been some other events today, as you can see here, in 1500, the first semi-final. Ingebrigtsen, it's a very small screen, but you can see Ingebrigtsen. He's won his heat. Behind Josh Kerr was behind him. Did anyone see these races? Cole Hooker was 3rd, but they're running 3:32, all qualified there. You can see the top 5, top 6, and in the second heat, you got the American Nuguzi and Neil Gourley got through as well. Timmy Chariot got through. We talked about him the other day. And the young Norwegian, Nordas, is through as well. He's someone who's impressed me in recent years as well. So it's going to be a good race, the final. Did anyone see the semi-finals?
Yeah.
What's your thought? Yeah. Do you want to throw anything in there? Change your mind about anybody? What about the Kenyan? I mean, he's not in shape. Surely he's not in shape to be winning Chariot. But is it still down to Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr?
I think Chariot ran a good race. No, that's a lie. Chariot didn't run a good race, but he ran a good end of the race. At the end of the race, he showed that he still had enough pace and enough endurance to keep up with those guys. He didn't fully keep up, but he wasn't running flat out and he wasn't going backwards. So I was impressed by that because obviously he's had a run of injury, a run of poor form. I still think that he's probably the greatest runner other than Ingebrigtsen in the field. But right now, I think Josh Kerr was sending a message to Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen made sure he won that race, and Josh Kerr had his head down and said, I'm going to jog it through next to you and make sure you're aware that I'm right here so that you have that pressure on your shoulder when we go into the final. Nagus is the wild card. He's got a terrible running form. Sorry, mate, but it's how I feel. And, when you see him, you don't see any exponential speeding up of him towards that final. But at the same time, he's running good times. He's able to hold people back with his elbows. And I do think that he's the threat because he can keep up with these boys. Shout out to Neil Gawley making it because, he's gone through a hard time. He's come through a lot of injuries, come through a lot of nearlies, and he's really made it to that final at a time when people were looking at Whiteman and Kerr as being the main challengers. Neil Gawley's a good finisher. So, good luck to him. But I definitely think that Kerr and Ingebrigtsen, Kerr saying, I'm still here. And I'm excited for it.
Okay. Semi-finals, the 800 meters women. Mary Moura, 157.86. She's come through. And the Ethiopian girl as well. In the other one, we got another Ethiopian girl, Duguma Maloney from St. Vincent, and Whitaker has qualified. And Gemma Reekie has missed out, it seems. And then we got Keely Hodgson, no doubt she's got through, and the South African girl as well. So Gemma Reekie has missed out. What about a 17-year-old?
She missed out.
Girl, Phoebe Gill, she missed out as well, running 158. So there won't be a clean sweep. There will not be no sweep. You can put the broom away and put your predictions away, Fanfletics. Now, what jokes aside, what's going on here? Did you see the semi-finals? What went wrong with the British girls? It's just with the 800, it's tactics. I mean, you can never be too sure. They missed out. What went wrong?
Gemma Reekie, she's one of those, moments that you really want to see happen. She's not been the top British runner. There was a time when she was behind Adele Tracy before Adele Tracy switched to Jamaica. But she's got that heart. And coming fourth at an Olympic Games, you really want to see those people progress. You want something for them. Like with Seville, you want something for them because they've come so close. Talu, you want something for her. With Reekie today, she tried to battle around the after the bell, and she tried to battle up down the back straight. And the thing is, you could do that then. But unless you're strong, you're going to fail on the home straight. And she started to fail. That look came on her face, which is ominous when it comes to her. And, my heart was breaking for her because I really wanted to see her in the final because I know that she needed to make the final to vindicate her fourth place at the very least. I'm going to leave that there because, I don't want to compound the misery. Phoebe Gill, on the other hand, not making it. Amazing interview afterwards. Amazing, the mental prowess to stand there and say, you know what, this was an amazing experience. I'm so grateful, and I was just in the mix there with them. It'd been great for her to get to a final, but you know what, she's going to be 21 in LA. So, let's see what she does at 21 in LA. With Keely Hodgkinson, she did what she needed to do. No surprises there. I can't see anyone else beating her. It'll be a joke if Mora does. And with Mora, she can't hold you back if you don't stand behind her.
Just quickly going about, do you think because there's no British, Keely's going to be on her own? Usually it's tactics. They have team tactics, don't they? National teams, when you've got 2 or 3 guys who could sacrifice themselves to help someone get gold. Keely's on her own in this race. It's going to be a great final, and I think it's really going to show tactically that without any of her British girls with her, that she might be vulnerable to what happened to her previous years when Mora kind of like dictated the race to her and won. So it's going to be a great final. Keely, come on, girl. Let's do something about it. Big up to DA saying wise words again from Fanfletics. Do you know DA? One of your boys?
I might, but it's still wise words, so I appreciate the shout out.
Yeah, review yourself. Big up to Fanfletics, man, delivering once again. We've got we do damn thing saying the record is safe because we referred to the 200 meters. We were curious. I think Noah Lyles competes better with a competitive field. I don't think this is a competitive field. I think Noah's focus has been solely on the 100 meters to Bogo for the gold. Wow. Fanfletics and We Do the Damn Thing are both gone for the young man. We Do the Damn Thing again saying Riki was run out because she ran the first 100 meters, 400 meters too fast and had no energy for the last 150 or the last 80 meters, no doubt. Norseman for the 1500, I watched. This is the American guy. Big up Moss Sports, man. Moss Sports, I'm surprised you know a lot about a lot of sports. I want you on my quiz team, no doubt about it. We Do the Damn Thing says here, Kerr heard was Ingebrigtsen said about, heard what Ingebrigtsen said about not being a rival. And I think for the first time, we are seeing a British person talk up their achievements by talking up his ability to claim the gold. Wow, this is a beautiful thing. Moss Sports is again saying between Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr, it seems at the moment. But like you say, you never know with these races. It's really building up, isn't it, the Olympics? We're coming up to an hour. We're going to wind it down now. I don't know what scheduling is like for the next couple of days, but we're going to be tuning in. Morning session, late session. If you guys are going back to work tomorrow, do a sickie for the week because the next week of athletics is going to be mad, crazy good. Just tell us, Kehinde, over the last couple of years, now we've seen some magnificent times in athletics. I mean, the 1500 meters, the 400 meters, hurdles, the 800 as well for men. It's been crazy. Do you think that's due to technology or better drugs or what? Why? Or is it just natural evolution to see the sport take on itself and get better? Because there's some marks I feel like when you look at traditionally, when you look at say Sebastian Coe's 1:41.73, that held out for a long time, and it stood up for the test of time. We've had a women's high jump record go this year, and then we got Sotomayor, his 2:45 high jump record hasn't been touched for years. In the pole vault, Sergei Bukta, his record has long gone, and we got guys now taking it to a different level, well over 6 meters. I mean, do you think there's ever going to come a time where you're peaking? There's going to be a maximum time or jump or distance for human capability? Because it slowly, over years and generations and technology and everything else, things slowly get faster. Just going back, when Ben Johnson ran his 9.79 in 1988, Zico, it took, like you said, it took another 10, 15 years or 10 years for Mo Johnson to run
to
run the same time. So that showed how far Ben Johnson was ahead, regardless of what you say about getting busted or something. So what do you think about the evolution of track and field, and what makes things improve?
I think what you're saying about some of the things that have been broken records, it's got to be a mix of technology and drugs. Drugs, not so much on the jumping things, the high jump and things like that. I don't think so, but there's more technology. But in terms of like fast times, it's got mainly to do with drugs. But yeah, it's probably a combination.
Can I just clarify? Drugs that are legal drugs, because you can get stuff that is not banned by things. Going back to what you said about Carl Lewis, when he was banned in '88 or when he got busted, it wasn't necessarily for a drug that was illegal at the time. I mean, Seb Coe had issues before 1984 Olympics for blood transfusion. He got a disease which you only get from blood transfusion, which they would.
And what was the thing with Alan Wells again? Sorry.
Alan Wells, it's only later is alleged that he was busted. But when I say about drugs, I think you can get like better supplements that are legal to help you, because there's a technology with the drugs as well. So that's why they have to keep up with the ban.
Exactly that. I mean, the only thing that I could say that like over the last 10, 12, 13 years, I don't think the people in the 100 have really progressed. Like
Okay.
Obviously, like the Bolt, he got a 9.58, but Tyson Gay and Johan Blake got 9.69. No one's got near that since that's like 2012. No one's got anywhere near that, and people are really struggling to get 9.7s these days. Like back in the day, we had Asafa Powell doing it, did it about 5 or 6 times. Tyson Gay, Justin Gatlin. But the sprinters of the last 8-9 years, they struggle to get inside of those times. Look at the PB. Yeah. Like Noah Lyles, he's supposed to be the new phenomenon, but he's only got a 9.79 today. You know, that was his personal best today. So in terms of the 100 meters, it's hard to get under 9. And I know your theory about anyone who's run 9.7. You know, so
we're not going to talk about that on the show.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that, but yeah, it's hard to get 9.7s. It's really difficult.
Okay. Fanfletics, we did damn thing saying here. I think the focus on physics, analytics, and has improved the sport. The sport has gone further than stand against the lion and run your fastest. There's strong evidence on the impact of the rest as well. Because when you look back, look at the 1988 final on 100 meters. Look at the form. These guys straight up. No drive phase, really. Things have changed. You can see his development there. But what are your thoughts on the development and evolution of sports and athletics, especially track and field?
I think that at the moment, what we're looking at a rebuilding based on the new analytics, based on the new cocktails that they're preparing for their athletes, based on the new training regimes. I think we're looking at a build up from a different stance. We're talking about drive phase now. The St. Lucian amazing woman that I called the other day, Dugan Alfred, she drove for 65 meters of her race before she popped up. And when she popped up, she was so far ahead, you weren't catching her because she wasn't hitting her top speed till 85. And at that point, it was finished for the rest of them. There are people like Louis Hinchcliffe who he drives so hard, you kind of feel sometimes, well, maybe if he popped up a little earlier, you might be able to get into a nice clean flow earlier. So it's not the same for everyone. I think we are working on a different metric at the moment. And I think we are working from a different stance, from a different standpoint. I do think if you watch that infamous race in 1988, the form was different, the style was different, and maybe people were, cooking with different ingredients at the time. But in terms of watching it from a viewer standpoint, we've started rebuilding the way that we run, and Bolt was a phenomenon. Everybody else is on the same track at the moment, and I'm eager to see what happens. You see people like Tobogo, you see people like Michael Norman, you see people like Wade van Niekerk making it work for them and progressing. So I want to see that progression. I think that by 2032, we're going to start to see a new style of record, and 2032 games and, leading up to that, that's when I feel we're going to see it.
Yeah, magnificent. Moss Sports talking about the Ukrainian girl, 2 meters 10, I think it was, new high jump record. Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. We do the damn thing, says, plus a lot of athletes moving to the US in order to tap into the state of our coaching they have out there, and the collegiate system is brilliant out there, isn't it? That's what really sort of sets them apart. A bit like with the West Indies back in the day, when West Indies cricket dominated for 25 years. It's because most of the cricketers would come over to play county cricket in the UK. Once that's kind of stopped, the cricket, they've gone downhill, or probably turned to athletics and basketball, things like that. But yeah, it just shows you, isn't it? The collegiate system in the US is amazing. We've seen people make remarkable leaps and bounds going over there, and it's something to marvel, the amount of money that's invested in the collegiate system, and you have to give credit to that. That's the place to be, I imagine, right now for athletes. You've seen so many British athletes go over there in recent years and really turn up their performance. No doubt about it. Just a couple more before we sign out. Moss Sports saying everyone in Ben Johnson winning race were on staff, proven afterwards. Calvin Smith and De Silva never tested or busted for drugs. Usain Bolt, an alien. Can't see that being a long time. I don't know. I suspect the 200 meters is going to go maybe this Olympics. I really do. I think it's going to be when, think about it. Let me just put this to you. In 1996, guys, Michael Johnson won in the trials for the 200, got 9.66, 1966. And that was a new world record, beating the Italian from before, which standard for a long time. He broke the world record from 1966 to 1932 in Atlanta. not long after that. And then it took a long time before anyone got close. I remember Xavier Carter ran a 1960 something, and then you got Wallace Spearman and Tyson Gay running 1906, 1906. But it's only in recent years that people are running Tobogo. And who's the young sensation again? Fanfletics.
From
Youngster run 1948, I think.
It's Amatinga, the one who got busted.
Oh no, not him. Sorry, the American guy. He's only 90. He's got the world record for 90. He's only 19, just got straight out of high school.
You caught me there. You caught me there, but I have it for next time.
I think I watched it the other day.
The guy he's running, got busted the other day, but he's running the Olympics now. He's running 1940.
Oh, Watts?
Not Watts, no, for the 200. What's his name again? Oh, forget his name. Knighton. Is it Knighton?
You're not talking about Arian Knighton.
No.
Oh, you are talking about Arian Knighton.
Yeah. Is it Knighton? Yeah, 200.
Yeah, and he was a high schooler at the last Olympics.
Yeah. So he's run under 1950. You got Tobogo run 1950. Lyles has taken it down to 1932. I think the standard's gone up, and it's quite possible it could go. Thoughts on that? Just before we do the damn thing. Says there's an argument saying Michael Johnson was the first to focus on sports science with the athletes, and also saying here, so now we see the continuation of that transition, evolution, and the focus on lifestyle, supplements, rest, and strategy. Yeah, great point there. I just gave my views on why I think there's very competitive for 200, and why I think it could go down this year. But who knows? Any other events to look forward to? What you got? What are you excited about for the rest of the week?
Sorry. Before we move on,
yeah,
I just want to touch upon this because I briefly text my brother about this today. I think there's some sort of conspiracy going on.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Kellyanne Fraser withdrew from the semi-final. She put out a statement.
Yeah,
didn't say why she withdrew. I heard
speak on it.
One rumor saying that she wasn't allowed to warm up for whatever reason. Then there was another thing saying that when she did get into warm up, she got injured, but she didn't confirm that in her statement. Now Sharika Jackson now has withdrawn from the 200 without a statement as well. What's going on?
Before I come to you, Fanfletics, I spoke to Junior earlier, our cousin, Yinde, and he touched on it as well. And obviously he's lived out in Jamaica and he knows, and he's probably had some phone calls, everything else. And he suggested to me that there's some kind of the French are treating certain people, Kenyans, Jamaicans, quite badly. And I'm sure it's all going to come out. But yeah, there is something going on. For Sharika to pull out as well now, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Fanfletics, what do you know about this?
Well, Kelly Rowland told him at Cannes, so I'm just leave it there. I've seen the video of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price trying to get into the training, and I've seen her, trying to get into the warm-up, and I've seen her the video of her actually asking why and laughing it off at first, and then I haven't seen any footage since then. So I don't know if she went in and got injured or what, but we know that there are certain places that may or may not have been accused in the past of treating certain people a certain way, and I think that it should be something that's spoken about, because that is robbing us. You're robbing us as fans. You're robbing us as a global sport and global community of sport of two of the greatest runners of all time in the 100 and the 200, I think, for Sherika definitely, of seeing them race at potentially what is their final Olympics. And I think that when I look back, I'm going to look back on this Olympics, in particular on the women's sprint side, as having been robbed of the last time that we get to see some of these people. Because we've seen them train, we've seen them talk, train, work, come out to race, and there is a massive argument to say that they weren't at their best this year, either of them, but I wanted to see them run, and I'm disappointed about that.
Yeah. I don't think there was any injuries. There's something going on.
Yeah, so most certainly it's all going to come out, I'm sure, in the next few days. We do the damn thing saying I have it under strong source that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price withdrew over the treatment of the athletes, both African and Caribbean. As we mentioned earlier, the Kenyans had an issue as well about getting on the bus and commuting to and from the stadium. I
want to say, sorry, just on that issue before we move forward. You know, one of the similar thing, not the same thing, but similar thing happened with Kenny Harrison. She had an issue going into the Olympics and she wasn't able to perform. And you know what it did? It set up the season. And now we have the Diamond League. We have Diamond League finals. We have more races to come. So while we're here bigging up the Olympics, that's great. But we still have an athletic season to continue. And I hope to see them back out. And I hope to see them come back out and making statements towards the end of the year.
And we hope to see Fanfletics TV coming out for the rest of the season as well.
Stay there.
Moss Sports World saying, and now even more NCAA athletes can make money too besides their scholarships as well. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there was a time when athletics used to be amateur and you used to work your day job, everything else, but they've taken on leaps and bounds. It's no longer an amateur sport. You get your sponsorships. If you're performing well, you get your backing, and then you can train full time. In the UK, we have UK lottery funding, don't we? And that's selected to certain athletes. You get funding, you can get like up to 40 grand a year, and then you can live your life. Everything's paid for and focus purely on delivering in the major championships as well. So there you go. One more thing here. We do damn things. Says, remember, the Nigerian basketball team was not allowed on the boat during the opening ceremony. So it's an ongoing issue. Yeah. Something we can discuss. Let's see how this pans out. Kehinde, thanks for joining us. I know you're all-rounder when it comes to sports, but you do have a special love for athletics, don't you? What do you think about Fanfletics, his knowledge?
Oh, it's far above mine.
Do you think he can test me with his knowledge?
Oh, I don't know.
Before I'm just joking, I'll tell you something.
I did the questions. I don't know.
I'll tell you something. I'm just joking. Let me tell you something. Yeah, the reason I used to work with Fanfletics.
Okay.
And when I say work, when we were stuck together in a room, we wouldn't work. We would just talk all the time. Can you imagine? Because finally I found someone. It's like I found my long lost brother. I discarded you. This man Fanfletics became my new brother in arms because of what? I couldn't believe what he was saying. We started talking. Athletics come up, and I'm like, I don't want to hear no rubbish from people who don't know jack shit, you know. And he started talking. I said, what the? And we became brothers in arms. Fanfletics, honestly, as my brother knows, I've been searching. I've been searching for so long. Nobody but you. I love you, brother. Thanks again. You delivered great assessment of athletics. Do you want to just sign us out for athletics? What are you looking forward to? Big up the people in the chat with me as well, please.
Yeah, no, thanks people in the chat. We do the damn thing. Moss Sports World. Listen, like, I love the support. I love all the shout outs. Thank you for the support. You know, I'm just starting to grow the channel. As I said, I didn't have many people to talk to, so I thought, why not just talk to everyone and see what happens? Because I love the sport, and I think that we need to build it up again. You know, there's a lot of other sports with massive sponsorship. Forget all that. This is a sport for everyone. So let's bring it to them. I'm really looking forward to the women's 8, of course, tomorrow. No sweep, so I'm not even going to bring the brush on screen. But you know, I'm looking forward to the women's 8 tomorrow. Obviously, the women's 2. I'm really looking forward to that. I want to see how Daryl Nita performs. I do think that it's open now with Sherika out, and I do want to see if Julian Alfred. No, man, you got to be careful with Julian Alfred as well. I'm telling you, because she's training with 200-meter runners. Everyone in her training group, other than her, is a 2 specialist that runs a 1. So I'm telling you, be careful. Watch her. What she saw today, right? All right. You know, Gabby chokes too.
She certainly does, but not anymore. Not with Sharika gone as well. And she's light skinned, so she's not getting all those issues. Anyway, yeah. So and 800 men's, that's in a few days' time. That will start. I'm really looking forward to that. No doubt about it. Yeah. So Fanfletics, make sure we hang around post show. We're going to have a little conversation and try and get everything set up. But once again, a wonderful show, great 100 meters. Let's just put this image up before we go. That's how close it was towards the end, guys.
Get the shoes.
The shoes. It's got to be the shoes. Look at that. Damn. If only it was down to the shoes. Certainly wasn't. But anyway, guys, in the comments, really do appreciate you tuning in. We will be back. If you like the show, share it, press like on the thing. Give us a comment as well afterwards on the YouTube channel. If you have anything you want to ask, we one of us, no doubt, will respond and get that interaction going. But get ready, guys. It's the most exciting time of the show. I'm going to play the outro music, which is also the intro music. And it's a good beat. You know, get your head bop into this. We're going to get you all excited about track and field. You're going to start following Fanfletics and this channel right here because it's all about it right now. This is competitive sport at its best. Kehinde, big up Fanfletics. We're signing out and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow for another great show. Good night.